Hi everyone, I am Sunny Agarwal and I welcome you all into this Dell Boomi web series. So many of you might be already knowing me since you have attended my SOA sessions. So this is a new initiative considering the change in the middleware landscape. We have come up with a new series on Dell Boomi wherein you will be getting multiple videos from me on Dell Boomi, and within a due course of time you can have an expertise on the Dell Boomi. So Dell Boomi is a bigger umbrella, and these all videos would be focusing majorly on Dell Boomi Atomsphere, and we'll talk on this in detail. Please don't confuse this terminology with atmosphere. This is Dell Boomi Atomsphere. Okay, so before I get into this technicalities of this Dell Boomi platform, a lot of people want to know about the prerequisites to understand this. See, if you have an idea of any middleware, that is icing on the top of the cake. But if you're coming from a non middleware background, then a basic knowledge of XML would be sufficient to understand this Dell Boomi. uh, it is also used by business users, so even if you don't know XML, then also you can work on it, but I would always advise to have basic minimal knowledge of XML to get started with Dell Boomi. So if there is anyone who do not have idea on XML, please get in touch with me. Okay, I can provide you some material for that. So let's talk about Dell Boomi. So you know this is Dell Boomi is an leading industry iPaaS. Okay, whenever you start reading about Dell Boomi, a common terminology will come across as iPaaS. So it's very important to understand what is iPaaS. It is integration platform as a service. So what has happened is you have been seeing from last few years, cloud is gaining more market, and different enterprises are moving their applications to the cloud. So since there is a change in the approach, the applications are maintained now. The trend of on-premises applications is decreasing drastically, and most of the enterprises are hosting their applications on cloud. Due to that, there is a change, or there is a disruption in the integration industry as well. So earlier, whatever integration solutions we had, like Oracle SOA Suite, Oracle Service Bus, uh, IBM Suite, TIPCO, these all were majorly renowned tools for on-premises integration. But now when the applications are being moved to the cloud, there is a need for the cloud integration. So there is a need where different applications on the cloud can be integrated with each other. Also, there is a need where on-premises application can be integrated with the cloud applications. So right, so basically this Dell Boomi tool focuses majorly on cloud-based integrations, but at the same time, it is very much possible to use this tool for on-premises integration. But considering the IT trend, we majorly use this tool for either cloud to cloud integration or cloud to on premises integration. Okay, so whenever we have cloud to on premises integration involved, such integrations are called as hybrid integration. Hybrid means neither on premises to on premises nor cloud to cloud, it's a mixture. So Dell Boomi can be very well used for the hybrid integrations also. Now you have to understand, what does integration platform as a service mean? Okay, you might have heard few other terminologies related to cloud computing: SaaS, IaaS, PaaS. So these are nothing but software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service. Now, what does it mean is, with the introduction of the cloud, you need not to worry about setting up the complete infrastructure, getting the license for a particular software, getting the platform on your machine. Rather, you can use the ready-made service provided by certain giant, and having the internet connection would be sufficient to get started with a particular platform or software, or to use or leverage certain infrastructure. So same thing stands good over here also. This Dell Boomi is a cloud-based solution. So you need not to have any software installed in your machine. You just need to have an internet connection to work on Dell Boomi. So if you are sitting at your home, or you are sitting at your office, or you are sitting in some lounge, you can just get started with the internet connection and you are good to go with the development. So that's why Dell Boomi says this is a platform which allows you to do any kind of integration from any place. So there is no such restriction that this integration would need certain software to be installed in your machine. This integration would need certain IDs in your machine. Those things are not required. So in older tools which you might see in the market, you need to do a lot of steps to have the setup in place. So those all time and bandwidth can be saved with the help of Dell Boomi. You just get a license and you are good to go with the development. So it saves a lot of time. Okay, and when time is saved, ultimately it leads to a lesser cost as well. So that's why a lot of enterprises are preferring this kind of tool. Okay, so the major thing you have to understand is why, what does platform as a service mean, or what does integration platform as a service mean? When can we consider any solution as a integration platform as a service? So see, something is called as a platform as a service where the complete development, compilation, execution, monitoring can be done on the cloud, which means to perform all these activities which I have mentioned, those are development, compilation. Just excuse me for some spelling mistakes if I make, because it happens at times while I'm in a flow. So all these activities which I have mentioned, development, compilation, execution, monitoring, if these can be done on the cloud itself, then it can be called as a platform as a service. So a particular platform is being offered as a service. We just need to subscribe for that service, and after that we will have certain credentials to just leverage that service. We need not to get anything installed on our machine. We just need to subscribe for the service. Now this service facilitates integration of different applications, either on cloud or on premises. That's why it is called as integration platform as a service. So any platform which facilitates integration of different on premises and cloud applications, also that platform is available on the cloud, then that particular platform can be called as integration platform as a service. I'll repeat myself: any platform which is available on the cloud and can facilitate development, compilation, execution, and monitoring of the logic can be called as a platform as a service. And if that platform facilitates integration of the different systems in an enterprise, let it be an on-premises system or on cloud system, then it is called as integration platform as a service. Any platform which facilitates integration of different applications being on the cloud is called as integration platform as a service. So I hope this part is clear. Now moving on. So we will start onto the hands-on part from my video one, so that we don't end up doing theory in initial sessions, which makes people a little lethargic about this, or they don't find it interesting. So we will cover a little bit theory and a little bit hands-on part in each of our videos going forward. So next thing you have to understand is how to get started with this. So with the subscription, you would have received account details from me, right? Your user ID and passwords must be ready with you. So what we will do is straightforward. We will get started with the look and feel of this platform. So as I mentioned that this is an platform as a service. That means it can be accessed over the web. The only prerequisite to access this platform is internet connection. So please make sure when you are watching my videos or when are you doing hands-on, you have good internet connectivity. That is the only prerequisite to get started with your Dell Boomi platforms, since it is there on the cloud. Now how to access it? In order to access it, just what you need to type is platform.boomi.com. Okay, so you just need to type in platform.boomi.com. This link has already been shared with your subscription with the user ID and password, but still you can check this link. I mean, if you don't have those details, kindly go back and check in your email. Just take this link. It's already open my on my screen, or else I can open in the new tab once again. So https automatically gets prefixed. This is platform.boomi.com. This is your login page where you need to give the credentials to get into the actual platform. So to get the look and feel of the platform, how does it look like, we need to enter the credentials. And those people who subscribe for my video series, okay, will get these credentials. In order to get the subscription done, you will need to get in touch with me, okay, and those details you can mention in the comments or description section. Now coming back here I need to give the user ID and the password. So those user ID and passwords, let's say I use something called as info@academy for rpa.com, and there is some password associated with it. So these are my credentials. I log in into this, and this is how the landing page of Dell Boomi Atomsphere platform looks like. So if you see at the bottom left, you can see here, top left, you can see something called as Boomi Atomsphere. So this Boomi Atomsphere is a cloud-based platform which facilitates the integration of different applications. The reason why it is called as platform, because the complete development can be done here. You need not to have any Eclipse or NetBeans or some other ID on your machine. The complete deployment can be done from here on the cloud itself. You need not to have any server or any container on your machine. Third thing is you can do the monitoring, okay, from here. Any alerts you want to monitor, traffic you want to monitor, the state of the processes, the state of the solution, how many things got errored out, everything can be done from this single platform that is called as a Dell Boomi platform, right? So this is the landing page. Here you can see your account name. So right now for me it shows as training Sumit Agarwal. So those people who are registered with me, we have got your training accounts created. And please understand, these training accounts have almost all the features required to learn the advanced level of this, okay. So kindly make sure you're using the credentials which I provided, and you should not use any other account throughout my training in order to avoid creating any discrepancy. Okay, so first we will familiarize ourselves with this landing page. What are the different options? Few basic things I'll cover here, and then we will keep on seeing as we progress about this course. So three important tabs which one needs to know about are build, deploy, and manage. So your whole life cycle of a integration solution on Boomi Atomsphere platform would revolve around these three tabs, or these are the three different phases in which your complete integration solution built on Boomi Atomsphere platform can be classified. The build tab will facilitate the complete development of your solution. Deploy will be used to deploy your solution. So whatever interface you develop, interface is nothing but a touch point between two systems. So whenever you develop a solution in middleware, that is termed as interface, means you are establishing a connectivity or a touch point between two systems. Deploy tab is used to deploy that solution, and manage tab is used for monitoring part. Okay, so there can be different types of monitoring. You want to observe the traffic, you want to observe the used resources, you want to observe the errored instances, you want to observe the time taken for a particular process. So all those things can be observed from manage. Now before I proceed, let me make one thing very clear, that this Dell Boomi Atomsphere platform is a stateful solution. Okay, now when we work in the middleware track, we may have two types of solutions. One is like integration suite, and another is enterprise service bus. Okay, these are the two major ways you will find, or methodology you will find, on which most of the tools are based. There are other classifications also, but these are the major two classifications on which you will find different tools given by major IT giants. Like if I talk about MuleSoft, it is an enterprise service bus. If I talk about Oracle SOA suite, that is an integration suite, because in the name itself there is a suite. So this Dell Boomi Atomsphere is also a suite of different product. Okay, Dell Boomi is a suite which facilitates different types of integrations, such as data integration, application integration, master data management, designing workflows. Now here in this video series we will be focusing more on Boomi Atomsphere. Okay, there are other options also. You can see master data hub, API management, flow. Okay, so there are different modules within this, but these video series is majorly focusing on Boomi Atomsphere, and this Boomi Atomsphere within itself is vast enough to boost your career. You will have a number of opportunities in market only on the Boomi Atomsphere, and this solution is a stateful solution, or it is a stateful tool. Stateful tool would mean that each process you execute, or each interface whenever executed, the complete state of the execution is stored in the repository. So stateless means when you execute something, the complete details or the state of the process is not stored inherently by that particular tool. But now when I talk about the Boomi Atomsphere, the complete details of the process, what happened in throughout the flow, can be seen. All those things are audited in the repository, and one can observe or can trace the complete flow of execution at any point in time. When I say any point in time, definitely there is some time limit until which those auditing details are retained, and after that those auditing things are basically purged. That is one important thing you have to understand. So now here you can see there are certain folders. So whatever you see on the left hand side, this is called as a component explorer. Okay, whatever different components you build in any solution, those all would be visible over here. Okay, so any component which you develop throughout your development life cycle will be visible on this left pane. Okay, and any reusable entity in Dell Boomi is called as a component. So we have different types of component, but what can be categorized as a component? Any reusable entity can be categorized into component, and whatever components you will develop, or I would rather say whatever reusable entities you develop throughout your development life cycle will be present on this left pane. So right now you see this account starts, or the root folder here is training Sumit Agarwal. You may have your own names like training Rajesh or Rakesh, or training Priya, training Victor, right? So within this you might have some process library folder. Okay, and if I expand within this, you have some Boomi training, and there might be some connectors and all. So let's leave this process library as is. I don't want to use it right now. What I would advise you is, whenever you want to get started, it's always very important, specifically in Dell Boomi, to have appropriate folder structure, because this would play a very vital role in organizing your components eff- efficiently, and this would basically help you to save a lot of effort when you actually start the development. Okay, I think things would start making more sense when we really start the development. You would understand what exactly I mean. So what I would do is, here I will create a new folder, and I will name this as Dell Boomi web series. So whatever solutions or whatever interfaces I develop going forward, those all would be placed under Dell Boomi web series. You can name your own folders as per your convenience. I will name one Dell Boomi web series. Okay, so this Dell Boomi web series, please understand, it has been created under trainings Sumit Agarwal. So please see, it is not under process library. It is one of the folders under Dell Boomi web series. So whenever you need to create a folder, just click on this arrow and you will get an option. So there are number of options. Right now we want to focus on new folder option. So if I want to create a subfolder within Dell Boomi web series, then I would need to create something here. Yes, I need to click on this arrow. So this is a note point that whenever we need to create a folder, you have to click on this arrow and you can create any number of folders. So let's say I want to create folder video 1, save. So now you understand, you get an expander button within this Dell Boomi web series. You have video 1. Now later on, if you want to change or rename it, you can do it from here. Video 1, rename, introduction to Dell Boomi. Yes, save it. So now uh, this is how your folder looks like. This is the component explorer. I talked about these three tabs: build, deploy, manage. So before we get started with all those stuff, if you understand the software development lifecycle also, leaving the requirement and design phase, we ideally would, the third phase would be the build. So among these three tabs, we have the first and the foremost tab, which would be of much usage for us, is build. So right now by default we are in build only. Okay, right now whatever we see, this component explorer, this is within the build only, right? And here this is the welcome page, which you see, where we have a lot of shortcuts for different items which are used very frequently. So here you can see there is a list of different components. Okay, there is a list of different components. Even process you can see here. So any process is nothing but a combination of different components. So a logical grouping of different components results into a process, right? A logical grouping of different components to basically derive a solution of a business use case results into a process. From here you can check your recent items. So this is kind of a shortcut which will be very handy, which will be very frequently used by you to refer the recently open items. And here you have certain guides or this or the solutions which are given by Boomi to basically uh, enrich your knowledge about the Dell Boomi platform, that how do you build processes, how do you connect with different systems and applications, how do you test those all stuff. So if you're interested, you can start browsing these, or else you can stay tuned with me to enrich your knowledge on Dell Boomi platform. So I hope we are good so far. Now the next thing you have to understand is how to really get started. What would be the logical component or logical entity that would hold different components? So as I mentioned just a couple of minutes back, process is the logical grouping of different components to provide the solution of a business use case or to design a business flow so that different systems can be integrated in a flexible manner. So what I'll do is I'll click on this new, and here I get different options. I can create different components, or I can directly get started with the process. So these components are the reusable entities, or I can directly get started with the process. So there are two possible approaches. First, you create process and within that you keep on adding components, or else get ready with your components and then you develop a process and you can start using those components within that process. What I mean is, first you get all the helping files ready and then leverage those in a process, or first have a process, the parent thing, and then start creating a component. So I am much comfortable with the approach where first I create a process and then I will add my components. Anything is fine. Okay, at times we may create a component first, but since process is the container of everything, I would start creating process first. So I'll select process. Now here what happens is you have to select the folder structure. Please make sure you're very particular whenever you are creating any component or a process. You have to make sure you are selecting the right folder structure. Even if you don't do it, it can always be altered later on, but it's a good practice to pay attention towards this. So right now I decided I will have all my development within this. I will show you once again. I'm trying to create a process under the video 1 underscore introduction to Dell Boomi folder. So that's why I'm selecting that. Okay, just hold on. This is getting stuck. Yeah, so here is the one. If at all you find this little difficult to grasp, and you feel this is uh, really a challenge, every time we need to remember that in which folder I need to place this process. Another approach we have is you go here onto that folder itself and select new component. So that way your folder would be automatically selected and you need not to browse for that particular folder, and you can save some time. At the same time, you need not to browse to that folder again and again, which is little irritating. So these are the two possible approaches. Any one of these are this is fine. Choose the one which you find more comfortable for yourself. Okay, so now I would name my first process as reading from file. Okay, I would name my processes reading from file, or rather I would say read a file. Reading a file. It's a good practice that you join different words while naming any component or a process with underscore. We'll talk about the naming conventions which one should use, okay, while designing your Boomi solutions. So whenever I say Boomi, I mean Dell Boomi, or I mean Boomi Atomsphere. These all me refer to the same thing. Okay, please don't confuse yourself. When I say Dell Boomi or Boomi Atomsphere, I am representing the same entity, that is nothing but Dell Boomi Atomsphere platform. So I would just click on create. So the moment you click on create, it comes up with a default shape that is nothing but start shape. So a process is designed with the help of combination of different components and shapes. Shapes are the entities which helps you to basically manipulate your data. These are the entities which will help you to basically connect with different applications. These are the entities which will help you to write the logic. So in some languages these are called as activities, in some languages these are called as shapes. So they different tools may have different notation to represent these entities, which helps in the manipulation of the data, validation of the data, enrichment of the data, transformation of the data, routing of the data. So here these terms or these entities are termed as shapes. And any Boomi process would always start with a start shape. Now start shape can be of connector type, it can be of data pass through type, or it can be of no data type. Okay, so we will understand the difference between these three. These are the three different types, but for the time being I will get started with no data. If you want to give some display name for this, you can give it over here. So I would name it as start flow, or else you can keep it empty also, there is no issue. I'll click on OK. So you see this is your start shape. Your flow would always start with a start shape. So the left hand side is nothing but the component explorer. Now the moment you created a process, let me just maximize this screen by clicking on this button. Now whatever you see here, this is called as canvas. Canvas is the graphical representation or a place where you will design your business flows, integration flows. So the complete integration here would be very intuitive. You would need to do just drag and drop of different shapes and components to design your business flow, which helps you to establish the connectivity from one application to another. And during this integration we will do a lot of validations, enrichments, transformations, routings, and a lot of stuff. Other thing you might notice is here is your name of the process. If later on you want to change it, you can do it from here. This is your process name, right? Then you can see something here, shapes. So these shapes are categorized into three. First is execute, next is logic, and third is connect. Yes, so execute will basically help you to enrich the data, it will help you to transform the data. So data massaging would be done with the help of execute shapes. Logical shapes would basically decide your flow of execution. In order to alter the flow of execution, you are going to use the logic subcategory. So shapes are categorized into three: execute, logic, connect. Execute is for data massaging, for the data enrichment, data transformations, and logic is to basically decide the flow of control. Like you may have certain conditions to check, you may have to route the same data to n number of applications. So for all those purpose, you basically make use of logic shape. And the connect shape will basically help you to connect with n number of different applications. So we have connectors categorized into technology connectors, enterprise connectors. Okay, technology connectors are basically related to the basic protocols like connecting to the file system, connecting to the database, connecting to queues, connecting to mailbox. Whereas enterprise level connectors would mean something like connecting to SAP, connecting to Salesforce, connecting to e-business suite, and so on. We will talk on this more. Now I have a start flow. Okay, start flow is nothing but start shape. I have given the explicit name, that's why it looks like start flow, but actually it is a start shape. If I double click on this, I can see this is a start shape and there will be no data over here. Now with this, having this shape only, I want to test it. I know this will not result into anything, but once I have the minimal activity, so this is the minimal shape which will be there in the flow. You cannot have any flow without start shape. I will save my stuff. So here at the bottom you have button called as save. You have save and close and close. So close means you are not going to save whatever changes you have made. Save and close would first save the details and then would close the current tab. So let's say I do save and close. So I'm redirected here. Here is an arrow mark. I'll get the component explorer back. I can start here once again. I can get into processes. So this is my process. You see the processes directory, or this is not actually directory, this is a categorization, a logical categorization of the different components. So processes, all the processes would be placed within this. So here is my first process, reading a file. Now let's say I want to test it. Yes, I want to test it. So, although there is nothing much which have been done in this, but still I can definitely test it. So now in many older tools, first you have to deploy your stuff to the server, then you can test it. But this is really developer friendly over here in Dell Boomi. From this canvas itself, you can see on the top right there is a test button. Without deploying your code to the server, I mean, first of all, there is no server concept as such over here. So the moment you develop your code or the develop your process, you can test it here from this canvas itself. So I'll click on test button. So now there has to be a runtime engine which basically executes your code, or which basically executes your process. So that runtime engine is called as Atom in Dell Boomi. So it is the runtime agent which is used to execute a Boomi process. Atom is the runtime agent which is used to execute the Boomi process. When I say Boomi process, it is nothing but Dell Boomi process. So when I logged into this, this is the first time I'm talking about the Atom. Now if I do go to this drop down, I can see two atoms already. Test Atom Cloud and Sumit is another atom. When you guys try to do this, you may not find any atom, because I have done certain configurations before my session, because of which I can see those atoms, but you may not see. So you need to understand how to get those atoms. What is atom? Atom is the runtime agent which is used to execute a Boomi process. So whenever you need to execute a Boomi process, that execution is done by atom. Now atom can be of two types: on premises atom, and you have, I would say it as on cloud atom, which means your runtime agent can be either on premises or it can be on cloud. So any integration that will involve a on premises application or an on premises system would need on premises atom. So on premises atom is required for on premises integration of applications. But as I mentioned you earlier, that this Dell Boomi platform is more famous for the cloud based integrations. So in that case, you can use on cloud atom. So this on cloud atom can be used for integration of cloud based applications. Now another important point is, on-premises Atom can be used for on-premises integration of applications, which means applications which are on-premises, and this can be used for on integration of cloud applications also. So on-premises Atom can be used for integration of on-premises applications with cloud applications, or it can be used for integration of cloud to cloud applications also, but it is not recommended to be used for integration of cloud applications. Ideal recommendation is for the integration of on-premises applications only, you should use on-premises Atom, and for the integration of cloud applications, you should use on-cloud Atom. But as far as the possibility is concerned, we can use on-premises Atom also for the integration of cloud applications. So how to get this Atom? Basically, how to get this runtime agent? So when you log in into this, you may not have that runtime agent. Okay, so like for me, I get two options in drop down. You may not have even one. You may not have even one, and you may get a pop-up saying that you need a Atom to execute any process, something of that sort. So which is very much fine. You just click a cancel over here. Let's assume let's assume that we don't have any runtime agent configured to basically execute our process. On for a moment. Okay, let's continue. So I was saying, let's assume we don't have that runtime agent right now, and how to get it. That is the next thing which we need to understand. So what we need to do is we need to minimize this window, and for that we need to go to Manage tab, and within Manage tab we have to go to Atom Management. Atom is the runtime engine, so we need to manage atoms. We need to create one. I will go to the Atom Management. Okay, so on the left hand side you might see couple of atoms, because I have already created. For you, such things might not exist. So what I will do is I will click on new, and I will create one. I will click on new, and I will create one. I will go to atom, and here you might see an option called as local. You might see an option called as local. So what I will do is I will select a 64-bit. So right now what I'm trying to do is I will show you how to get on cloud Atom also, but right now first I want to make sure that you have local Atom. Local Atom is Atom in your own machine, so that runtime agent will be on your machine. So this is not mandatory, but now it's important to understand how an on-premises Atom works. What are the steps involved to get that? So that's why I am using the local Atom here. So you will get an installer over here. So you need to select the corresponding configuration of your operating system, and you need to click on download installer. So you can see at the bottom left an executable file of 4.4 MB has started to download. Okay, so let me get that download. I will go on mute, and once it is downloaded we will follow the subsequent steps. Okay guys, let's continue. So here you can see this atom underscores install 64.exe, an executable file gets downloaded. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to run this executable file. So I will just click on show in folder, and I will get the executable file. So I have another executable which I installed earlier, so I will just double click on this. Any one of these, both are one and the same. So the moment I start installing it, you need to hold on. So it says you must be logged in as an administrator. So what you need to do is you need to right click on this. Okay, and you have to do run as an administrator. Just click on yes. So you get the welcome wizard to do the setup for the atom. And please understand, here we are installing the on-premises atom. Okay, now this is being installed on my Windows machine. I'll click on next. Here, now what I'll do is I will link this atom to the Dell Boomi Atomsphere platform. Yes, so you have to link your atom to the Dell Boomi Atomsphere platform using the credentials you have. So I will give my credentials. You can give yours, and you have to give the atom name. So let me name it as training on premises atom. So this atom is being installed in my machine, so that's why I'm naming it as on premises atom. I'll click on next. So it will authenticate my credentials. So this is basically trying to establish the connectivity with the Boomi Atomsphere platform and would check whether these are the valid credentials. So having an internet connection on your machine is of utmost importance. This whole process, anything related to Dell Boomi would definitely need an internet connection. Without internet connection, you cannot work. So you can see here the required disk space is 5 MB and the free disk space is right now is 73 GB, which is fine. So I will browse to some other directory to install this software. You can choose the default directory, which is absolutely fine. So I will browse to some specific directory to install this atom. So what I will do is I will go to D drive, sorry, E, and here I should have Dell Boomi web series, Boomi Atomsphere, and I'll click on OK. So I created this kind of directory. It's up to you. If you want to do it, you can do it in the default one also. I'll click on next. Okay, and I'll click on next. This will give the complete summary. We'll click on next, and it will start extracting the files, the different jar files and all the, you know, atom related files in your machine. So right now what we are doing is we are installing the on premises atom in my Windows machine. It can be installed in a Linux box also. As you might have seen, when I was trying to download the installer, I had an option to choose the Linux installer as well. So this is going to take some time. Again, I'll go on mute and I'll pause the video until this installation completes. So once the complete installation steps are done, you will get a message the atom was installed on your computer. The atom service was started. You can monitor the atom in Boomi Atomsphere. So now basically this atom has been linked with your Boomi Atomsphere. You can monitor this atom which is there in your machine from the Boomi Atomsphere platform itself. And how do you do that? You have to do that by going into the manage and atom management. So I will just click on finish. Once I do that, you can see this is the Boomi platform. Let me just refresh. So this is your Boomi platform. Now I go to manage. I go to the atom management, and you can see here we have three atoms right now. Okay, the one which is on cloud, here you have a cloud kind of symbol. I will tell you about the cloud atom also, don't worry. The difference is on premises atoms will have a round symbol, and cloud one will have a cloud kind of symbol. So you can easily segregate which are on premises atom and which are on cloud atom. So right now we configured this. Okay, this is training on premises atom, right? So it is getting refreshed. If you can see here, the moment I clicked on this, the status is getting refreshed. So this is the atom ID. Each atom or the runtime engine will have a unique ID. So this is called as an atom ID. The moment you click on that atom, you will get the base different information about the particular atom the date it was installed, the host on which it is running, and the status. So right now you can see it is an online status. So in order to execute any piece of code on any particular atom, you would basically need that particular atom to be online. So right now I am onto the cloud-based Boomi platform, which has established a connectivity with my on-premises atom. So if my machine does not have internet connection, then you would see this is an offline. So there is a interaction between the Boomi Atomsphere platform and my machine cloud, which is nothing but on-premises atom. And when the establish can be when the connectivity can be established successfully, you will see the status as online. Okay, so what we can do is, since we didn't know these atoms earlier, these atoms have been created in advance. Okay, we will majorly focus on this training on premises atom as of now. So what I can do is, I go to this test atom cloud, will scroll down, and I will delete this atom. I don't want this atom. So you see I'm left with two atoms right now. And the Sumit one also, what I will do is, I'll go here and I will delete this atom as well. Yes, so I am left with only one atom, and that is an on-premises atom. And when I click on new once again, and when I click on atom once again, you can get n number of on-premises atoms. So I have an option to get local atom once again, but right now I'm not interested, since one atom or one runtime engine is sufficient to get started, right? So now this was a brief introduction about atom, and now it is in online state. I'll come to the build tab once again. I will come to my Dell Boomi web series. I'll come to the video one. I'll come to processes, and I will select the reading a file. So this is my process, which is a very simple process. So I'll click on the test button now, and I get an option to select the atom. So you see I have an option to select only one atom now, and that is on premises atom, the one which I developed. I'll select this and I'll say run test. I'll say run test. So you can observe here test execution was done. So you see the screen is disabled, where you can see some green color of round, which means this got executed successfully, right? So what happens is, whenever you will get anything got executing successfully, you will see this green round color of symbol in the background. If anything fails, you will see red. So now what has happened is, this shape got executed successfully, but though there was no logic, nothing was fetched, nothing exactly got executed. I mean, no logic was embedded, so that's why we may not see anything in detail about this. But the only thing is, we have been able to set the runtime agent which is required to process the flows. We know how to get started with the creation of the process, and we know how to test it, right? So these are the basic things which would be required to get started with the subsequent uh, advanced level things. So I will end my first video here, and would request you all to complete all the steps which I have explained in my video, and stay tuned for the next video, where I will show you exactly how to read a file from your machine. Okay, I hope you have understood the concept so far. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks, guys.